Hello and welcome to the Under the Sticks live Super Rugby Aotearoa watch along presented by Big Red Cloud. Visit www.bigredcloud for all your online accounting needs. We are 2 minutes in to this final live broadcast of the Super Rugby Aotearoa season, and I have Sean Holley along with me. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Ant. Yeah, bit of a strange one. Had to obviously switch all communications off, get up, not speak to anyone, no devices, have a shower, cook breakfast. It's very odd, isn't it? Not switching something on and finding out anything because they don't want to spoil it. We're doing this. They changed the kick out to 4 a.m. So we're doing the 8 a.m. watch back, but we don't know the results. So we're there.
Yeah, we're okay. Paul Williams, have you managed to go full monk?
Yeah, I don't know what's happened at all. And I normally...
That's your day-to-day life, though, mate.
Don't start now. Listen, we're only 3 minutes in. I normally set an alarm in the morning on Saturday to check the actual scope, so I turned that off today. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Well
Just
done.
be prepared at the end, because this is probably the last game, unless they reschedule the other. So I may burst into tears at the end of it.
Adam Redmond, how are you?
Morning all. Yeah, I'm good. Also managed to avoid actually setting this all up and literally connecting to the internet was a worry. Even checking my phone this morning was like, oh, there's basically every single app is connected to the internet, so don't.
Yeah, it is strange.
Can I just start off, right?
Oh,
here we go.
Bodies, one more ball. That was like the NFL.
Where did he go in?
Okay,
they've done
got
it,
to score a try here. They've got to score.
Oh.
Yes.
Hurricanes. Okay, can we just say this is one of the worst kick clashes since one of these teams in their awful away jersey played away to the Bulls earlier on in Super Rugby, and prior
It's really
to that,
bad, isn't it?
Again involving South Africa.
Do
you remember
it's
South
drab.
Africa and Ireland played? South Africa wore green and Ireland wore that camo jersey.
Yeah.
This is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous, this kind
I
of...
mean, seriously, apart from the pitch, you might as well be watching this in black and white because you can't really identify. Admittedly, my TV isn't the best.
I always think away shirts should be bang. It's a complete... I know it's a complete contrast from yellow, but it's an opportunity to go, isn't it, and strike a bit of interest. Boys look forward to putting them on because they're away from home, and it's this... Yeah. We're putting grey on.
Yeah, but here's
we're putting grey on.
They did this when they played the it was when they were playing the Crusaders, wasn't it? They wore this kit, and you're going, lads, you've got a perfectly good bright yellow one. I mean, you want pop?
No, I think you're thinking the Highlanders. The Highlanders also have an away kit in that very similar colour, and it's just anyway. Yeah, it's taking 2 rounds, but this Super Rugby Aotearoa is going downhill rapidly.
The only good thing about this chat, he's put the 4 iron with the left to right fade on it.
He really has.
The only good thing about this chat is that Andy McGeady doesn't have either of these away kit, home or away kit. Oh yeah, he has the Highlanders, but he doesn't have the Hurricanes away kit. Show off.
Do you know what he will have?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Challenge accepted, Holly. Challenge accepted.
Oh god. We have just looking at the comments. We have all our regulars have got up with us. They've also tried to avoid the score.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
And I think we'll just this is the last Saturday morning we will do a watch along. I think I'm confident in saying that as the Guinness Pro 14 returns next week and on into the new season, which will start in October. I think we're going to see these live shows be a feature. If I can manage to free up the budget for Paul Williams, his rider list is outrageous. I mean, you've heard of brown M&Ms. Paul brown M&Ms are nothing compared to Paul's rider list.
Such a diva.
It's the albino elephant milk that's the tricky thing to locate. Once you get your hands on that, I mean,
Yeah, and all the foundation that we've got to pay for you as well. Let's see. So James Reed, obviously James is a regular, and James, yes, we will put you in touch with Bear Hug on Monday. So because you got a comment of the show recently. Before we get going, thanks for the last 10 weeks. For me, the pods and the live rugby have been instrumental in breaking my lockdown blues and reconnecting with the world. I'm gonna miss it. Well, James, we will try to do more live content around Guinness Pro 14 games when they return as well. And I think James is an Ulster fan. Hopefully, I haven't made a mistake there. So
Do
there we go.
you know what'll be really good going forward as well? Because we've got a good amount of Southern Hemisphere people following this. Is if we can carry that through to them watching the Pro 14 with us,
Yeah.
because it's been interesting probably for them seeing us chat about their game, and then with a bit of luck we can carry them through to ours. There are a lot of Kiwis playing in the Pro 14,
Well, I'm
a lot of
keen.
South Africans, a lot of good for Australians.
I'll be at least one Pro 14 game a weekend. Well, let's see what we can do. It's up to the boss man, isn't it? And but there's all sorts of things that lockdown and Zoom and StreamYard and all the fact that we've got people like James Reed and James C. Cowan and Tom Anderson and all the usual suspects are on here. Steve Kennelly's here. We wouldn't be doing this without these guys. So brilliant.
Stephen, too early for that. I've only had a half a coffee. That's
Paul, this one's for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just on that, so Bain Harrison, watching from New Zealand, love the show, boys. Thank you for
Thanks,
the bit of love.
I'd be a bit wary of that. There's one danger with that one, Sean, though, because we could give the impression that we are more closely familiar with Pro 14 rugby than we are with Super Rugby. They might expect like extra layers of detail and analysis. I'm not sure we're geared up for that just yet. It's been a long break, so we might have a slow start.
Well, some people on this podcast were doing some very hard work around Pro 14 during the break.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes, isn't there?
Yeah.
Holly's staring at me going,
That's beautiful handling there, boys from the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Sorry to drag us back into the...
We're 10 minutes in. We really haven't talked much about the rugby that's going on. We can wax lyrical, I think, towards the end about the 10-week live watch-alongs. And also, we have a replacement on the pitch already.
Yeah. All I can say is the team in the slightly less drab kit have just scored.
Yeah. That's lovely handling, isn't it?
Yeah,
1, 2. Look at that. 2 passes, and you've basically taken 6 players out of the game, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure who mentioned this before when we've been watching the Highlanders, but Mitch Hunt is going to make himself a career in France, England,
totally
Pro 14 at some stage.
Do you know, I wrote about him about 3 weeks ago, Adam, in the Pro 14 column. Because he usually has played a lot of fullback, and it shows, doesn't it, the way he plays at 10.
What if you were to just look now and I had to ask you which club, you've got to say instantly, right? What type of club is he now?
What, golf club?
Wasn't a difficult question. Which type of rugby club do you see Mitch Hunt go into? Ready, Paul? Ready,
see.
go. Still not a difficult question. Ready,
it is.
Go.
It's because it'll have to be a flashy French team to lose.
Oh, wow, good one. I was thinking Worcester.
Yeah.
That's also
the difference between me and you, isn't it?
No, your answer was right. I was just trying to think of a flashy team that's got money.
No, do you know who he'd be perfect? He'd be perfect at a team where they give up a lot of international players, but they've no out-and-out 10 in the squad at the moment. And I think that's where you'd go with this. Do you know, because then, particularly if you give up somebody who potentially plays 10 at international level, maybe, and he can slot in at fullback. But if you have that presence throughout the season in the halfbacks, in one of your key decision-making positions, that's the kind of team I'd be trying to put him at. But I think if he went to, like a Toulouse, he might find himself on the bench for all the games and
disappearing.
Do you know, I think there's something else I alluded to this week that, to their detriment, because Kiwi rugby is so good, and now everyone has watched this. I mean, this isn't even a shop window. This has been like wandering around Harrods, isn't it, for the last sort of 10 weeks. You think the amount of players that'll go missing from this league now in the next 24 months. Like,
Well,
I wrote about C.O. Tompkinson this week, the Highlanders centre, who, he's a fantastic player. He plays more like a bull shark, is what I've written.
Oh.
Like his level of aggression, and he's probably so far off the All Blacks because they've got so many centres.
It's the depth, mate, isn't it?
What a buy he'd buy! Imagine buying C.O. Tompkinson. You could probably pick him up for $250, and he'd be there all season.
Well, that's where you earn your money as a recruiter or a coach who's got his eye on these sort of things. But what you also get is the agents know this.
Yeah, I'm going to be $350.
The agents know absolutely. They know it. They play one club off against the other, and there's all sorts of things in the background. In terms of qualification, via his wife, maybe or whatever, and that potential residency, age, injury history, offer from Japan, and that all comes in the mix. And before you know it, you think you got somebody. It's changed so much now. It's getting a little bit like football, where you've identified him before you know it. Somebody else has got him.
Yeah.
I think I was reading Aaron Smith's comments last week, and he was saying that as much as the players have enjoyed this competition, he doesn't see it being sustainable in the future, because he thinks if they did this in the future, they'd need more bye weeks because, and I don't think it's navel gazing. He said the standard is just like test match rugby
every week.
Yeah, well, at the same
too
time,
fast.
right? Yeah, but at the same time, if we were like in the Guinness Pro 14, if we were to play all our derbies.
I was going to say, imagine Connaught, Ulster, Leinster and Munster played constantly each other. Can you imagine? Ireland be world champions, but the people would be pretty bored watching it, wouldn't they? After a while as well.
And it's like a weird forced evolution, isn't it? Yeah. Like your game would just adapt in one particular way. If you imagine you just had the South Africans play each other every week, that game would become very forward dominated, wouldn't it? Same as this. This could potentially get a bit too skills dominated, and then all of a sudden you come up against the Box in the World Cup and they just flatten you.
Yeah, and I think as well, like when you put this concept together as well, like you've got to remember, like players do get rested in Super Rugby. We are all very fond of Super Rugby, I'm sure, but there are stages where the All Blacks don't play for a couple of weeks and where the Box don't play for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're not used to, as Smith is probably alluding to, playing, on the trot. Oh,
the pass. Even for Super Rugby, that was forward.
Yeah, it was. But look up here, that was like watching cream being thrown across the field. That was God. Was that a missed 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh,
it's a lovely pass.
That's beautiful, isn't it? I could watch things like that all day.
But a couple of questions, Ed. Well, I wasn't thinking that one, Stephen. This is hot topic down. This is hot topic down in South Wales at the moment, because I don't know if any of you follow a bit of rugby league, but there's a young St Helens player who got picked up from my area. His name's Regan Grace. Scored a phenomenal hat-trick last week, and
I saw that.
People in our area, we know of Regan. He played at the Abraham and Quins club. Bit of a rough old background, but the boys down there, really helped and done a great job. And he's been picked up by St Helens and has just burst onto the scene this season. But there's more in the past, and there's more to come from this guy. And Steve Kennelly's asking about Welsh regions picking him up, and I got to be honest, it's like after the horse was bolted, Steve. He was around as a youngster. We were all aware of him locally. The talent that he had, bit of a handful, Richard Hibbert style, but you can't just wait for him to go to rugby league. He bursts on the scene and say, "Oh yeah, now we'll have him back." I think rugby league will have a big say in that. How the game will go with rugby league with COVID and the restrictions and finance, and that is another thing. But he's certainly one, having played junior rugby, who can transfer back to one of the Welsh regions should they create an interest. Another lovely long ball forward.
Yeah. Do you know what
But
I think what's interesting about that whole league debate now, which is the total opposite of when I was growing up as a kid? Because we hadn't gone professional. But the money is now really in union, isn't it? So the unless you're one of the top 15 league players, you could potentially over your career earn more in union.
Yeah.
So if he carries on progressing the way he is, somebody will come in for him. That's all of the top league boys now, weirdly in the UK, sort of tend coming back into union.
Yeah.
Which is good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there has been rugby in the UK. A couple of people have asked us about watching Quins and Sale. I think Sale struggling with the new interpretations. And we also have another comment in about did anybody watch the Gallagher Premiership last night?
I did, yeah. It wasn't great, but it was the first game, so I wasn't really expecting it to be.
That was pretty great, wasn't it? That
was.
at the back.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah.
This is what we're up against, boys.
I know.
I was anticipating Andy might ask for predictions on this. Bearing in mind we've kept away from the score, and I was having a good think this morning, thinking like, it could go one or two ways for me. In my experience of these sort of, that's a dead rubber, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
One, it could be error strewn, and what are they looking at? Foot in touch.
Oh, you can't.
Oh, he's touched it.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, well, that's definitely in touch.
oh yeah, that one.
that one is, yeah.
Okay.
That's unforgivable. That's a Roy Keane get the team bus, get the train home. Sorry. Could go one of two ways. One, error strewn, drab, and the players end up going, oh, do you know what? We're trying too hard. There's nothing on this anyway, and it goes like a bit of a 15-12. Or it just goes Yahoo, and we get a load of tries, and I can't work out 18 minutes in still which one is going to be. There's a little bit of both here, isn't there?
But the other big thing is that in Kiwi rugby, every game matters because they're all black trials, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Every game down there, you can't have 3 poor games because there are about 6 players waiting to rip that shirt off you.
3 poor games.
Yeah, I like Paul's logic on this.
But you can't imagine if you play centre now. You've got Goodhue, Leonard Brown, Lamape, Enor. You've got Umanga Jensen. Right, there's 5 or 6 who could immediately start for the All Blacks, and that's without that's without Rico Awani.
So I didn't watch last night's game. Was it any good?
It was as you'd expect the first game to be. Do you know, we've got to remember the first week of Super Rugby in New Zealand wasn't ultimately.
Holy! Did you see that?
Oh my!
That was naughty. That was.
Yeah.
That was filthy.
Oh.
Big hole opened up.
That if they get a score out of this.
Oh. I just want replays of this for a little while now.
You wait wait in a normal rugby match. You wait all.
Sean, I think we've got the answer to your question now.
3 seconds.
We could have a bit of both, like
yeah. An error strewn 40-38 match.
That's a very deft kick, I might say.
Dean calls the hooker.
But there's a man who knows its own limitations.
Yeah.
Put a lovely bit of pace on it for himself.
Yeah.
Do you know, he's really Keith Woody, I think, Dean Coles, in the way he plays. Like, he's not scared to come out of the number 2 shirt, is he, and do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You want to be very, very good, very, very good to do that stuff, because otherwise you're accused of actually not being a hooker.
Look at this.
This is
he's in touch.
Expansive.
Do you know, Sean, the accuracy of that passing is good, isn't it? To be throwing 20-meter passes like that.
Look at the players. That would have been typical of like a conditioned game we play in training.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's almost like you allow some errors and you encourage a bit of free for all. The balls in play a high amount of time, high phases, high turnover, a lot of running, just to get
Play till
the
someone's
training
on
up.
the floor.
And that,
I think it's like this game is. I know it's only seven apiece at the moment, but there's a lack of intensity defensively, but there's a bit of what would you say?
look at this.
Gusto in attack.
Yeah.
They're just going to do whatever they want.
Oh, he's round.
Oh, step, fend. Oh, he got back well.
Oh, good tap.
Do you know, Adam? But it's the one that I'm always find myself defending Super Rugby, particularly on the defensive side of things. But I always think it's so much harder to defend in Super Rugby because virtually all of the players can beat you three ways.
Yeah.
So even with the forwards, you can't just step up on them and expect to take a contact.
This is like a training session. This is like a condition game. This is end-to-end stuff, isn't it?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
There's no discipline here when people have the ball in possession. I mean, if you look at the amount of unforced turnovers in the first 20 minutes, that's the stat we'll hunt for at half-time, guys.
This would be me refereeing.
That's forward.
That's forward. Clearly forward.
Look forward.
Look forward. It was forward.
It'd be like me refereeing a condition game in training where players are asking for a forward pass. That was a knock on. Come on, that was a play on. Let it go.
Yeah,
just to create create the training effect. But you get in. Let's have a look.
Do you know what?
I tell you
They may let that go.
See, that comment in itself sums up. They may let that go. You're almost an oxymoron. You're admitting it was forward, but it's all right. It's nearly there.
Super Rugby's got form though for that sort of thing.
They are. I think the term is aggressively flat.
Let's have a look. Which way are the hands go? Yeah, he caught it behind him. He caught it behind him. Honestly,
funny looking pass. I think.
Yeah, it went.
No, they're checking it. Here.
That's a value play from a second row, boys.
Throw up play. Comment there, because just in the move beforehand.
Which comment?
The one about the kick clash. Because Josh Ioane, I've got another contributor coming.
Hello.
Josh Ioane passed straight to an opponent player.
Yeah.
Like it was clear. This wasn't a fling going to someone else. He passed straight to him.
I don't think that's forward, boys.
No, I think you might be right. It might be flat.
I think the hands are.
I'm sticking with my gut on this. It's a forward pass.
Oh!
There you go.
Wrong again.
I still haven't got my replay of those two offload pass, incredible things.
Sensational.
There are too many. The editors play a panic attack.
That play is something we need to see more of, and I think we might see more of in the Pro 14. We used to see in the middle forward take the ball and tip it onto his outside because that creates an edge. See, that's looking forward for an unders line and edge, and then cutting the defensive line to go again. But if you've got like a forward coming at a slight angle, like that 45 degrees inside ball there, and a ball player who can maybe look and show to the outside, but it goes back inside like that there.
Yeah.
It's devastating. It's really hard for that inside defender to catch. And I've mentioned this a few times under the six. Apologies, but there's one. James Lowe comes in off Jack McGrath for Leinster against Munster last year in the semi.
McGrath, I think it was
it McGrath?
Scrum half.
No, it was. It was the. That's what I mean. It was the prop Jack McGrath before he went. He's gone to Ulster, isn't he?
Yeah.
Before he went to Ulster, inside the James Lowe, the steps, the fullback Haley, I think it is, or Haley it is, isn't it? And he steps him. There's a cover comes across, but he offloads to Jack Conan. That play, with you get James Lowe, Duan van der Merwe, George North, Liam Williams in those positions, and you've got ball handling props like Jack McGrath who can do that. Then you're talking. Well, this is what we've seen in this, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that the type of play then that gets more effective as players get more tired as well?
Yeah.
Because they struggle to make that inside gap.
Well, the guys on the inside are the heavies, they're the bigger guys, right? So, and they invariably have to fold around the corner. So when they get lazy or tired, you can get them.
Got it.
You know,
I
Irish
think
teams
as
are
well,
brilliant at that.
the longer the game goes on, and particularly guys who are playing the full 80 minutes, sooner or later in the last quarter, they're going to be in a part of the defensive line that in the first 20 minutes they weren't.
Yeah.
And look, as good as defensively as teams are, you're
There you
still
go.
gonna look at this little bit of play. Sean, what do you think? Is it ridiculous to suggest the kick clash is contributing to offloads to opposition players?
No, I don't think it is ridiculous. I think there's so much traffic going on there. We've seen turnover, offload, kick pass, whatever. In that heat of the battle, what some players are cleverly coached to do is call for the ball as well.
The fake call.
Particularly
I've
when there's a
done
line break. Yeah. When there's
I've
in your
done
touch
it.
game, man, when there's a
and
line break
I've got
and
a
you're
wallop.
getting back, you call for it.
Yeah.
Here, so I just want to come in because there's a couple of people joining. This is not a replay. We are doing this live, but we don't know the score.
Yeah.
So be sound. Okay.
We're in a bubble.
Cool. We got up this morning and went full monk. We didn't check our phones. We turned all our alerts off. We don't have Twitter on for the first time in our lives.
I'm wearing a hair shirt.
Yeah.
It's been eaten by maggots, yeah?
We're watching this on. It would have been 4 a.m. our time here in UK and Ireland. And officially, our reason is that viewing figures would have been better at this time. That's our official reason, and we're sticking to it. Okay.
Yes, it's a replay. I guess no one fancied the 4:30 a.m. start. You are right, Harley.
You are bang on the money, Harley.
Yeah.
Well, Harley, you got to think about it. Why get up at 4:30 when you can have 4 hours or 3 hours extra sleep and still not know the outcome of a game and then do what we're doing?
Plus,
Yeah,
I really don't want to come across you three at 4:30 in the morning.
Christ, no.
Well, there's times where that's acceptable. This would not be one of those times.
Do you know, I think what's interesting, since Hoskins, Satoto, we haven't seen a lot of him since the first, say, 4 weeks. And then we've got Tui, the 8 for the Highlanders. He's been so impressive, the 8 for the Highlanders. I think if we hadn't have seen Hoskins, there'd have been a lot more talk about the Highlanders 8.
There goes Mitch. Would it be fair to say Mitch is a quality Kiwi name?
Mitch.
It's a great Kiwi name. There are a lot of Mitches.
You're not expecting again, are we?
Oh, look at that.
Oh, here we go.
Scrum half is a good run, boy. Well done.
I cannot tell the difference between the attacking players and the defending players in the sunshine.
Look who's in the
hard.
Look who's in the middle of that again.
It's good support line.
I've got voices coming. I'm going to do a bit of a switcheroo, Adam, in a couple of minutes and change location, okay?
No problem. You just give us the signal and we'll...
I'll show up the bat sign, okay?
Sean, it's Umaga Jensen again in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
Look at that. Bang.
Lovely step coming up.
That's right.
Nice.
That's what we're doing.
Umaga Jensen
That is rugby. That's right.
Class,
he's the sort of player who could get even better in the All Blacks environment,
Yeah.
He could just get even better. He got the pedigree. He's trying things. He's a big specimen. His assists would be nice to know because when we did them the other week, he was involved in a couple of tries and scored a couple, didn't he?
Yes.
So he's one to watch. I think. I know everybody talking about Lamape and this, that, and the other, but for me, he's looking like he's in the news all the time, in games. Swaino's on.
Swaino's on. We'll pop him in a second. Was going to say, total points scored today, boys. Over or above 65?
That was what?
Really?
Over or above? That's what I'm just asking. 65.
Oh, I see.
Score now?
17-14. Oh, sorry, 7-14. So we've got 21 out of 65 potentially. Do you think we'll be below 65 or over 65?
I think it'll be just below. That's quite a lot, isn't it? 65.
It is a lot.
The last 20 minutes of this are going to be... this is already sevens with a couple of extra players on the pitch.
10 minutes to go to half time. I reckon there's going to be another score. So that'll be 20, 28. Yeah, I'd say yeah. Why not?
Okay.
I tell you what, I reckon Holley time will go out the window today.
That's
Sean.
what I mean. Holly
See any Holley time today?
That's the case.
What's he up?
No, it doesn't look to me like there's any sort of Holley time today.
No, they won't even be coaching at half time. It'll just be do what you like.
Tell you another thing they won't be today, looking at my window, is golf. It's sheeting it down.
Is it? I'm playing tennis at 12.
I mean, I don't think I've had a dry game of golf in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
There it is.
Through
Look.
again. Oh, it's a good
That's
tackle.
that play, man.
Oh, that's a really good tackle by Barrett. That's like a bouncer just swooping into the middle of
Isn't
the nightclub to just chuck someone.
That looked like a bouncer throwing out a 16-year-old who shouldn't have been in the club. Never mind a man.
Oh, there he is again. Do you see that?
Yeah. No.
That one is a little bit naughty, I think. You know, I've said this before.
And he's in another ruck. What's he doing? He's got a mental.
There's no rules in this game. This is the thing.
What is the ref doing? He's like, oh, well, there's nothing on it. We may as well enjoy ourselves, boys.
Yeah.
This is a training game where you can throw in a few extra shots, I think. But Geordie, that's the one thing I'll say about Geordie, a full-back. I never trust a full-back to make a tackle. Geordie, someone will catch him flat-footed in open space. It happens to every single full-back. But in tight confines, I'd back him to bash a guy into touch or at least, slow him down a little bit.
Well, let's face it, he's the size of a club-level lock, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's 6'5", nearly 17
He's big and
he's doing apprenticeship.
Gives you a bit more confidence than his brother doing it early in the Aotearoa.
Yeah, I love it.
But we've been lucky in Wales. You think Lee Byrne was a brilliant last ditch tackler. Lee Halfpenny at his own cost.
Yeah,
and
Liam.
And then Liam, we got three brave animals in the last 10 years who try savers.
Do you know what? Especially Lee Halfpenny. I know the other two are fantastic as well, but Lee Halfpenny, you'd trust him to bring down a pretty big land mammal, wouldn't you? You'd trust him to bring down like a small cow, wouldn't you, on the run, if you had to?
Oh. Now, Swaino's been on. Hey, fellas, loved the show, loved getting involved. Hope I can watch some Pro 14 with you soon. Yeah, we'll have to check
Absolutely.
We'll have to check the time zones there, see if we can get some of our Southern Hemisphere friends to involve, get them watching one of our games. I think what could be interesting, guys, as well, because Sean, I know you'll be doing the games in Wales, but interestingly enough, we will kick off the restart of Guinness Pro 14. There's a nice little run to this. We'll start off in Italy. That'll be the first game next Friday night, and it's safe to say nobody from this podcast will be in Italy. And it'll be interesting to watch those guys go at it. First of all, because the conditions should be absolutely magnificent. They've been the teams in training for the longest, and as Dean said, they're all going to be dying to get out there.
Yeah.
And actually, they've all got to put their hands up for Franco Smith for Italy's games in October and November as well.
I think that's a great idea, mate. I think it's a great idea.
For the clubs who have not a huge amount to play for in these two restart games, the players actually will have a lot to play for. So
yes,
I think
they will.
Be a really good one. And also, I think we're the type of if you're the type of person who wants to tune in for a watch along for Super Rugby, I think you'd probably find a bit of interest in Zebre and Benetton as well, and the guys that they have.
Mate, you're right. The thing about with doing our Under the Sticks watch along for Pro 14, not that we don't have an insight into Super Rugby, but we clearly are well versed in the Pro 14. We are, I've coached it for years and years and years, and I'm broadcasting in it. You too, Adam, you working in it in the communications, know all the players. Paul, you the writing about it, so we know it, almost ethnographically, if you like.
Yeah.
So, if we've got Southern Hemisphere listeners like we got today, who, then we can talk around lots of things that I probably wouldn't get a chance to talk about. If I'm commentating, I have to commentate on the game,
That's right, yeah.
If I'm pitch side before, I have to talk about the game, and that's fine. But on things like we're doing, I can answer loads of questions, we can talk around all sorts of subjects around the teams and the Pro 14. I think it's brilliant. I'd be watching it anyway,
Exactly.
So
absolutely.
Speaking of which, the Lady Gaga of Under the Sticks has returned after his latest costume.
New top. I love the way he just appears. It's like something from like an 80s pop video. Boom, new top on. Oh, no sound.
No
Fantastic,
sound.
no sound.
How's that?
He's-
Are we
Yeah.
better?
Hey, there we
He's
go.
more like the Rowan Atkinson of Under the Sticks, isn't he? That's what he is. It's like,
I love it.
if this were not the 9 o'clock news, he's Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, I love it. He just appears. It's great.
Oh gosh, do we need to qualify that for our younger viewers who Rowan Atkinson is?
Yeah, it was a show, an eclectic mix of talent that we now know as Mel Smith, Griff Rhys-Jones, Rowan Atkinson, Pamela Stevenson,
Yeah.
who's married to Billy Connolly, and they did sketch shows, and that's what made them people like Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, our younger audience, is Rowan Atkinson. Blackadder to us.
Yeah.
Blackadder, yeah.
Good. Andy,
That's
while
true.
you were away, I am predicting a points total of plus 65 for this game, and I think
Jesus.
Holly Time is going to be ripped apart.
Holly Times put no chance. It's not even up for grabs today.
It's
I
not
want to
even
go
a
back. I
thing.
want to go back to quickly because we're almost getting into betting realms here, and you know me, I like a little look at the odds.
You like a bit of
Well,
action?
Last night's game, I didn't watch last night's game. I had other things to do out the back again, and
Oh, this is. Hold that thought because I want
Yeah.
to see a replay of that one.
But Sale were favourites last night, and
Yeah.
I got thinking,
Yeah.
as I do as I like a flutter, and I thought to myself, hang on now, right? This is almost like a pre-season game, right? It's the first game of a new season. Harlequins are refreshed. They're playing home. I looked at the two teams. Sale, and they give Harlequins something like 6 points head start.
Mhm.
Well, guess who won a few quid last night?
Nice.
Didn't even see the game, you know. But I mean, today now you look right. Leicester Tigers, Exeter Chiefs. Now on the face of it, you'd go, oh, Leicester down the table. Exeter going to be champs. 18 points start.
Good God, really?
New coach Steve Borthwick, right? Look at their
18
team:
points.
Ford, Youngs, Ellis Genge, et al.
Yeah. Namani Nadolo.
He's not playing it, I think.
Oh, isn't he?
No.
Yeah,
It's
18 points in 18 points
18
in
points.
rugby is quite a lot.
That seems a very extreme. Mind you, bookies know what they're doing, don't they?
They do, mate. That's
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing, isn't it? I know, like you said before, there were lots of algorithms, but they must have boys and girls working in there who know the score quite literally.
Yeah, and anytime this turns to back, we could be on a long con here, Paul, right? Because Sean made a big fuss right at the top of the show about definitely not knowing the score, right? And he does like a flutter.
Yeah.
No, I can't bet after the event, can I?
No. True.
Yeah,
I tell you
but
what-
I genuinely can't call this the way it started. Like I said, my thoughts were it's either going to be a drab, error-strewn, or a try-fest, and I still not sure which one it
Yeah.
is. It's a bit. We've seen a bit of both.
All I do know is how good Jamie Booth has been. The Canes 9 up against Aaron Smith. He's been fantastic. That's a man of the match first half from Booth. Bud. Oh, look out.
Yeah, there is something missing from the
Jordy.
game though.
Here comes Geordie, little kick over the top. Where's the bounce
Oh.
going? Straight
End
back.
product at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Loads of line breaks.
I'm expecting at some stage in this game that the rules of gravity just will not apply because
Just the space-time continuum will collapse.
but just the decision
Just-
the decision making is so lax, and I don't mean that like people are half-assing it. I just mean in terms of like guys are literally like, let's see if this works. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because again, like there's nothing really at stake. I don't think anybody wants to get their bodies beaten up after the last 9 weeks and everything that's happened.
Very reminiscent of condition games, doing training. You know, you can see the intensity. They're all trying to move the ball away, a couple of passes, and you know, look at it. That's training stuff. That is.
Sevilla just did a 1970s schoolboy dummy in midfield. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Dawes and Roy Beziers.
Yeah.
Double dummy scissors, pop.
And leave it hanging in the middle, then regather.
There's a
I
couple
bet
of
Andy
things here.
McGeady did a double dummy scissors pop.
The-
I bet he
the
did
dummy pass DDP was standard in school boys rugby at every level.
Yeah, always. You've got to do it.
DDP, and it ended up almost always with someone getting flattened.
Exactly.
Someone.
Somebody thumping you in the thorax.
Yeah, correct.
Well, you see, the thing is that a lot of people don't understand, particularly at the lower levels of the game, of which I'm sure Andy and Paul and myself have all frequented for quite a long time in our younger days, is that you've got to set up the killer punch. And I've played with guys who would just think, yeah, let's do the elaborate dummy switch pop. Like first time
switch
out the game.
move.
You've got to establish your threats. You've got to
Yeah.
let people buy into the runners that they'll actually carry the ball and do some damage. Otherwise, you just say, no, just going to wait here, bang.
When you see the two centers and when you're in the opposition line and you see the two centers basically going, yeah, we're not involved in this one, are we, lads? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're not even facing the right way.
You know,
Flip
again,
off.
one of two people is getting smashed.
Actually, do you know, we've had some chats on this show about coaching at the high end. I would love to just like split this crew up into two, Sean and one of us, and then the other two, and we both coach like junior rugby teams, and
That'd
see
be
where our
great.
knowledge of junior rugby would allow us to suss out the weaknesses in Sean.
There's an idea for a show, mate. There's an idea for a show. Come on.
Wouldn't that be great?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? Considering all the point scoring, I think we should. Paul, you should be the coach of one team. Sean should be the coach of the other team.
Oh, we know how that'll go.
And actually,
Jesus.
on that point, actually, what I'd say is about seeing lots of conversation over the last couple of weeks about the return of amateur rugby and Sunday rugby and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Christmas it looks like now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're talking about no scrums and things like that and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, well, hang on a second. At that level of rugby, there are rucks that have more people than scrums and last an awful lot longer than
That's
scrums
right, yeah.
in terms of physical content. And guys,
24-man rucks.
I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody light a cigarette in a ruck at junior level at times, just chilling out
Probably.
and just, it is, like, I remember playing a game. We had to tell our forwards that we had to limit the numbers in the ruck, i.e. the whole pack could not get into one ruck.
To keep a
they were
few
all
out.
severely hungover that morning, so yeah. Oh dear.
I'm looking forward to the
14 gents at half time.
yeah. I think that tees us up for the second half.
Paul Larter, who was working on a secret mission with myself and Mr. Holley and another celebrity rugby media person has yet to be unveiled. Paul's doing some stats for us. There's Highlanders 9 errors, Canes 12 errors in the first half. So what we're looking at here, and I think that the big one here is going to be the turnovers,
That's high, isn't it?
passes. This is training. It's enjoyable training ground stuff, but it is training ground stuff nonetheless.
It's loose. It's making me uncomfortable, lad. And Paul coming on the show there has just reminded me I needed to reply to an email of his. So Paul, I apologise. I've just replied quickly. Silence is gold, mate. It means everything is good. Everything's good. He's doing some great work in the background, and we're anticipating some of the exciting new stat stuff that Adam and I and a few other guys have been working on to come through in the coming weeks. But now, obviously, errors. We talk about turnover ball, but it's just been a free for all this game. The first half, it's like I was saying. What is the player's mindset? What is the coach's mindset? It looks like they want to have a real blowout and just get their fitness up. I don't know whether they got Mitre 10 coming up or something. I don't know, but neither of them can win anything, and it's just let's throw caution to the wind. I don't like it personally. I'm a little bit of a purist. I like a bit of both. I like a couple of different ways of playing. When it's on, let's go. But when it's like this, it's just too loose.
Do you know what? Yeah, I can see why the coaching that's driving you nuts. But the other side of it is, like, for some of these players, they're not going to wear a Highlanders or a Canes jersey until, like, what are we now? We're August. Chances are they don't wear the jersey until February again. I mean, like, the post-match review here is utterly useless, really, isn't it? It's that level of control and authority is just, it's gone out of this one, clearly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know that I always think that obviously you don't want to have that many errors, but don't errors only count if you aren't scoring? So it doesn't really matter if you make 20 errors if you've scored 5 tries, does it?
The thing is, Paul, what is the score?
Well, yeah, 14 all. Yeah, true.
It's 14 all. You know, we've watched games in this has been far more conservative, structured, kick for corner, line out drive that have had more points in the first half. So are they really achieving?
I actually can't think of anybody kicking for touch in this game yet.
I know.
Have we even had a line out? I think we've only had 2 line outs.
This try, we saw this try that was shown on the highlights now. So this goes to show. This, to me, you see,
I was just going to go check. Sorry, I was just going to go check some stats, and I realised if I check the stats, I'll find out the score.
You've done. I know. I nearly made that mistake now.
See that try there, though, isn't it? It's almost hypocritical, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's like cheating.
Just wang the ball around for 35 minutes and get as many offloads and errors as possible. And, oh, by the way, no, when we're close to the line, we got a penalty. No. We're going to have a driving line-out try then.
I have a serious question here. Yeah. Does Izzy Dag have a rug on?
I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean too. I'd need to see the back of it.
Wait, you see when they come back from the analysis here, and Izzy Dag.
I know exactly what you're getting at, because this when they flashed up this morning first for the preview, he's like, Izzy, you've looked better.
Yeah, there's something unnatural about the plumage.
It genuinely looks as if that's a bald man with someone else's wig.
It's odd, isn't it?
Oh my God!
It's the Minder trench coat, because that is your classic 1970s game show host with the fake wig or whatever.
It's Gene Kelly, isn't it? He's about to take his coat off and start tap dancing.
Or he's had it dyed. Something's happened there.
It is, yeah.
Sean, here's a question for you from authoritarian point of view and the person at the top of the tree for an organisation, right? And it makes very little difference, I'm sure. But all these guys at the moment, right? So we've seen it in football as well. If you're a substitute, you've got to wear a face mask and all this kind of stuff. Would it irk you? And I'm not talking about the health concerns. Just everybody's told, boys, when you're on the bench or you're in the group, you've got to wear a face mask. And some of the boys have them under their nose or under their chin, and some of the boys are wearing them. Is that are there little details, and that can apply to anything that would just within the environment? If you've been asked to do something, just do it. And I'm not trying to get into the face masks conversation. I'm just saying, as a trait, like when guys turn up and you say, guys, everybody in their number 2s today, and somebody's wearing the wrong colour polo shirt.
I can't swear, but yeah, you know me and the sort of personality I am. That would really cheese me off.
I can imagine.
Things like, all right, boys, all wear your under the stick shirts with chinos, right? Be there 6 o'clock, bang. And one guy has got the under the sticks polo shirt on, which is the same color scheme, but it's the polo shirt.
Yeah,
it's not the. So it's ill discipline. A lot of people are a bit more relaxed, like in terms of he's showing individuality and his personality's coming out. And I'm thinking, well, I get that, but there's other reasons that we do those things, those conformity things and cultural things. And then there's a time and a place to show your individuality, I think. But it's a difficult one because you want people to express themselves and this, that, and the other. But it's minor detail things. I think history tells you that the 1% at the highest level make a difference. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all watched the All Blacks, All or Nothing, or The Last Dance. We wouldn't have bought into those things. And when you reflect and see those things, they make a difference in Formula One. It's life or death.
And how does he manage a personality like Mr. Williams when he wants to wear his cravats and his scarves and?
Well, I think there's a time to play it. I think. Well, I'd probably try and embrace that and get an under the sticks cravat made up so that we all have an opportunity to wear one. Or on a day, and have a cravat day, or you know what I mean. You embrace it in a different way, or we sell the under the sticks cravat in the shop or online because, guess what, Paul's stringing rackets probably would be banned.
You can't do that. It's a major income stream in this house.
We have
Paul, if the tax man might be watching, it is not an income stream. They are favors.
Hey, I'm legit these days.
Yeah.
You've never been legit, pal.
I'm legit above board. The Al Capone days are behind me.
Yeah. Throw about Jasmine Smith's comment about Dag.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. That's interesting. Yeah, because he was going thin. I forgot that when he was playing. So he's
thank
at.
you.
I tell you what, it looks good then. If that's a regrowth treatment,
Jasmine,
I'm going to
it's
get
not
that.
even it's not even 9 a.m. Please, no swearing.
Well, that's because there's Shane Warne, famously, Darren Goff,
Yeah,
Austin Healy.
yeah, Healy's good.
They've
Stuart
promoted the treatment stuff. So
Andy
Stuart
Guse
Hogg
hasn't turned up.
looks like a hair model these
Hoggy's
days.
had it, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Whatever happened to the going gracefully, Adam, and the Jason Statham look? Come on, guys, stop being so vain.
That's it. We have a
Jonathan
friend
Webb.
of ours. A friend of ours has had it done, and the cost is just the cost.
How much is
insane.
it?
So
Out of interest.
you're talking about 5 figures for treatments and stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
to
my
get
word.
it done properly as well, so you don't look like you've
Yeah.
got doll's hair. And I think the other thing that, like, for me, when I see guys getting it done in their late 20s and 30s, they're investing in having to do this over and over again because hair keeps falling out. Not the hair that they've put in, but the hair
The
that
other
falls out.
bits. Yeah,
Anyway,
I
this
see.
is exactly what people have tuned in for.
Yeah.
Tony Brown, boys. You look at Tony Brown, and there was Chris Gibbs.
Mm.
If you look at those two there now, I didn't even listen to the interview, but which one would you really rather go for a beer with?
Yeah, totally.
With Tony Brown in it.
Yeah,
He looks like something out of Ray Donovan. He's awesome.
it does.
I would travel many, many miles and take many, many flights to have a beer and talk rugby with Tony Brown.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
He's done a lot,
Like,
hasn't he?
I would
My
just,
word.
I would caveat that I would travel many flights and many miles to have a beer and watch rugby with people.
Yeah, just anybody.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. It is pretty remarkable that when we talk about this kind of discipline, that every one of those Highlanders coaching staff happened to have the same shirt all season, just in the back of the wardrobe. I'm impressed by that.
I like it. I quite like this coaching uniform. I think it's quite cool. Adds to the brand.
It's good. It's good.
We have rugby back on, gents.
We do. Right, come on. It's what are we thinking? So the 65 points I think is within reach, but what I'll say is Sean's point right at the start is that the error count could get in the way of this game in a very big way. So if they tighten up just a notch, I think you could see like 40-35.
My worry is, right, I'm hoping we see that, and I'm hoping we see it. But my worry is that it'll be similar to the first half. Then we have tiredness, and then we have substitutions, and it gets to a bit of a ridiculous, like this now. Look,
Yeah.
here we go again.
Straight away.
Was there a slap in there?
Zipped away.
I just want to see a little bit more structure and loads of points. There we are. That's not too much to ask, is it? Because this is getting a little bit like Sunday morning kids rugby now, and the refs like play on.
No,
The score doesn't matter.
Go on.
Like, and the
No,
parents,
people are
we're the
starting to
parents
throw
on the sideline going, we gotta win, and the refs going, relax, you don't have to win, they're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
A few people are throwing shoulders in, not lifting their hands up for tackles.
Good take.
Do you know a player that we haven't really spoken about much since we've been doing these, but I've been really impressed with, is Shannon Frizzell, the Highlanders 6. He's been amazing, isn't he? I know they've had a lot of good back row performances in this league, but
He's in the All Black squad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the starting 6 as a rule. And I think I can't see anyone taking that off him. I think he's been fantastic.
He is an uncomplicated approach to the joys of playing 6.
Yeah, but he's also got good hands, though. I think that's what separates him. He's not just like a flat-out cruncher.
This tells you, boys, right? 14 all, 42 minutes.
Posts. They've been told.
For posts. See, that's where the half-time has come in.
We have Holley time.
They've been told. They should have locked the coaches out of the dressing rooms at half time for this one.
That's definitely, they've definitely been told there, though. There's no way you'd have done that in the first half.
No, I think you're right. I think there's kind of a little message gone. Listen, lads,
We need to win
we
this.
want correct. This is a game first, and we're professionals. And I'm still looking at next season's contracts, so stop second around.
This sounds like meddling to me. Meddling by the coaches.
And another thing is, there'll be a little bit of, we need to be selling season tickets after today, and we don't want to be thumped.
That's a very good. Do you know what? That's a boringly good point.
I always think about the money.
Yeah.
Joe, I have a question for anyone still watching. Anybody watching along for us. In terms of season tickets and your desire to buy a ticket for rugby when you can and when it's safe to return to rugby grounds, have you more of a desire and appreciation to get back in the ground now than you would have 12 months ago? I just wonder what impact the pandemic has had, because even like in New Zealand here, they've seen what's happened around the world. Then they were able to open up, play rugby, and get people in the supporters from in the grounds from day one. And now this weekend we've had a game called off and a game played with no fans in the ground. So I just wonder, to your point, Paul, like, are people just going to go, oh yeah, if I can buy a season ticket, I absolutely will, because I don't know when I'm going to get to see live rugby again, type of thing,
Yeah, and it is tricky. It's but you know what? My friends, the Russians, they say they've got a vaccine. So get your season ticket in. This could be over by Christmas.
Yeah.
Paul, if they
definitely.
Paul, if you get something in the mail with Cyrillic text saying, "Dear Paul, this is a vaccine from your friends in Russia."
Yeah, exactly.
Would you take it?
Yeah, this Paul, we've given you one of the first 100 of the batch. Make sure you put it directly into your neck.
Yeah. P.S. Let us know how it goes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was just thinking, it's all rather it's all come together quite quickly since Paul sort of made his comments about the Russia's potential to host a World Cup. Now there's a vaccine. I'm sure Paul will become a candidate for it, and then we'll never hear from Paul again.
Exactly. I'll just turn up one Sunday morning. I'll be sort of yellow, totally hairless.
Polonium was everything.
With one eye. No eyelashes.
Just on the Russian theme, a good friend of mine, who work. It's a little bit off track, but I thought it interesting. Mark Bennett rang me this week. He's a big mate of mine. I had him as my head conditioner at the Ospreys and Bristol, and he was with Wales for years. He's now with Russia. He's a head of high performance. We were chatting away, and he was just talking about just the different logistics and travel. This is good stuff.
This is true.
That's a great try. And he was saying that NSI, NSI STM, one of their main teams, he said this is how vast the country is, because they're just thinking about having one far over on the east, which is like 9 hours flight, right, from Moscow. They're thinking of having a Russian club team there. Anyway,
9 hours
down the other day, and he said NSI go to play their European games against Worcester in Sochi because of better conditions, better facilities. It takes them longer to get to Sochi than for Worcester.
Oh my God.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
I remember kind of covering the story around Connacht when they went out to play NSI, and it's just literally, it is in the middle of Siberia. And that sounds like a mystical, magical place to all of us. It is on the map. It is absolutely gigantic, and there is nothing there.
Yeah.
Great question from Jasmine Smith, or our producer.
Ospreys are doing that, aren't
they? Yeah. So is Pro 14 doing the same?
Well, it's a club's choice. So there are certain things that really aren't within our realm to decide. But if clubs want to do it, anything that can add to the matchday experience if we can't have fans.
I think it's great. You've got to be careful, though, because the first week they did it in Australian rugby, someone put Fred West right in the middle.
Oh, never.
Do you know what I think has been cool, actually? In basketball, Paul, you're a basketball fan. They've put up a big LED video screen board behind the court, at the sideline of the court, or courtside. I'm all out of basketball vernacular. but what they're showing is it's the virtual crowd. So
Oh,
people are
really?
on Zoom, they're on Zoom calls or whatever it is like this, but it's not like all squares. It's made to look like they're positioned as fans.
That's
But they can only
fantastic.
fit X
Wow.
amount of people in. But celebrities have started turning up in them.
Of course
Like
they
real
have.
celebrities, like
Yeah,
rappers and stuff
Snoop
like that.
Dogg
So,
and all that lot will be in there.
yeah,
Do you know
very
what?
cool.
Shows you the money they've got though in that league, doesn't it? So instead of doing cutouts, they go straight for the giant TV. You know, probably like 500 grand's worth of kit.
Do you know the incredible thing about basketball is as well when you think about it? I mean, like basketball, there's only ever 5 players on your team. You need a squad of what, like 12?
Yeah,
Right? They
15.
bring
Yeah.
in ridiculous money. You have arenas that hold 18 to 22,000. They'll fill them for the whatever it is, the 762 games a year that they play. The economics in basketball must be pretty tidy, particularly if you're a player.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The clothing bills are massive though. Jesus, just fitting them out in trousers.
We
I'm still,
fake crowd noise. We've had Jasmine's asked. I'm not so sure. I'll be on Premier Sport next week. I'm not so sure we will be doing it. I've yet to find that out. They did on BT last night, did they?
Would you like
Yeah.
Would you like some breaking news?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, our friends at the producers of the Rugby 20 game have provided us with all of their sound effects, and between Premier Sports and Air Sport and TG Car, all the sound whizzes there have kind of come together to mix those with some sounds they have from pre-existing games as well. So there will be those noises. And
I think it's a good idea.
the crowd DJs will all learn a thing or two this weekend, and it is what it is. But I think for the foreseeable future and the rest of 2020, I think this will be a skill that will be needed in the broadcast truck.
Yeah. Do you know, here's a little interesting thing that all horse, with all broadcasting of horse racing, all of that sound is added. And they tried it without the horses and the thundering of the hooves in the 80s, and people hated it because they couldn't send a mic around, of course, to follow the horses and the jockey. So all of that is added, which I didn't realise. I found out about 2 years ago.
Right, I'm about 5 minutes late with this one, but it needs to go up. Just to remind everyone.
Well, a caveat time.
He did
Kennelly's chipped in. I did say there wouldn't be Holley time. Within 10 minutes, McGeady, didn't I? Come on.
Yeah, he did, to be fair.
Let's look like a
Holley
game with no
called
Holley
it
time.
early. He said that the rules were out the window today, and there's probably going to be a load of points. It would be destroyed in this game.
Well, my point is that unfortunately the coaches seem to have interfered in the game that we were watching at halftime, and Holley time may well be. Well, so when was that try scored?
It might have been just before, actually.
I think it was.
In which case, if we get to 60 no tries, I'm definitely claiming it. No, here we go. Lovely play.
Look at that.
Oh, there's a block in there.
There is a block.
Put it down sooner. I was like, he's going to get knocked into touch here.
I know.
So a lot of things have to go right to that. That's high speed play. What's the timing of the winger, right? He can't see where he's leaving this pass, this boy.
That's like indoor rugby, isn't it?
But the referee is just going straight into it. The referee wants a replay immediately because he knows there's a lot of traffic collisions going on.
1, 2.
Right. Mumanga's fine.
I think it's Jordan.
That one. That could, mind you.
It's Umaga Jensen,
okay.
but he's chosen to take Umaga Jensen there.
Yeah, forget Umaga Jensen. Yeah, no. That one's fine.
It's out wider. It's
That's
Scott.
Fine. It's this
it's
one.
Theo. Oh yeah, it's Collins.
He's holding him. That's the only issue.
Yes.
He's wrapped his arm around him.
Collins has chosen to do that, hasn't he?
But the attacker's wrapped his arms around him.
You cannot give that try.
Oh, that is.
There's no way you can give that try.
Coaching box. That's 3 tries chalked off in this game so far. All of them for the Highlanders. I can't tell. If they were wearing different colours, I'd have a better memory.
Got to be so careful, haven't you, running those lines?
But watch now, right? Umaga Jensen slows up, right? He slows up, and that's fine. He holds on to him, that fella. You can't do that.
No.
The damage is done.
It's actually a bit stupid because if he doesn't wrap his arms and they just bounce off each other, then
He'd have been okay, wouldn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of this is Sean. Like talking to players, like they want to paint a good picture for the referee and the officials. If once you put an arm around them, it's a very bad picture.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
Right, I'm always going on about this, and I write about it once every 12 months. Should that be a penalty now, where they get to clear their lines, or should that be a scrum? Because all they were doing
I'm okay with penalties.
All they were trying to do was attack and score a try, so they haven't deliberately cheated.
Yes, they have.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I know.
If he's obstructed him,
I think it should be a free
penalty.
I think it should be a free kick or a scrum. I think that's too much an advantage now to be able to clear 50 meters and have the line out.
No, I disagree. I would never coach my players to run at a defender like that, right? Where the runs they both should be making are to the outside shoulders. So then you limit the chance to block, right? It doesn't become a block. Because of the angle of the run, that defender will not need to come straight up. He'll need to just slightly push off. And if you run to the outside shoulders, you're just getting into his channel of where he's trying to go. All right. If he'd just gone to his outside shoulder there, that guy would never have caught that winger anyway. He might have got a flailing hand or arm on him. But you were running the risk, you live and die by the sword, I think.
Jasmine Smith, thank you very much for doing the stats. Hurricanes just allowed 3 tries. Never seen that in a game before.
God, look at that stat there from Harley Worthy. Bang that up. That's incredible. Hat trick of disallowed. One player.
Right, we've 2 Welshmen on the broadcast.
I was at that game.
The man who was at the stadium. Who was the player?
I was at that game.
I was at that game. I was as a supporter, so I can't have been paying too much attention.
You must have been Phil Dasaki.
I think it was Japanese lager, yeah.
Yeah, one of those, days off.
Being cold, hobbling off.
It's great to see him back fit. I know he's hobbling off, but long-term fitness. You need players like him in the game, don't you?
Oh, he's something else to watch. He really is. I mean,
I don't think there's anyone close to him as a hooker.
Unbelievably, if that try was before 45 minutes, which I think it might have been, we could be seeing a genuine Holley time.
Yeah.
in the most loose game we've seen in the whole of the Super Rugby Aotearoa.
Have you seen your little type there, Sean? Holley. It was a Japanese lager. Excuse.
That could mean so many different things.
That could get you out of a lot or get you into a lot of trouble.
Probably into a lot, yeah.
There's one thing, like I've said, like we've seen a different lower level of intensity from these teams. I haven't had anything controversial that I can spin into a misportrayed quote for you guys so far. So that's the closest we've got.
Yeah, I love it when you ping those up. Holley slams Australian rugby. Holley, my favourite one was when you put it's Union.
The Japan was an amazing place, and what a World Cup! It was just brilliant. I'm just hoping the Lions goes ahead. I mean,
I
got a lot of people asking me questions. A lot of people interested in going. 2 operators are are struggling. They're putting packages together. Will they? Won't they? Oh, imagine it didn't go ahead. Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's a long way away, though, with a bit of luck.
Well, I was saying that about September and March.
Yeah, that's true enough. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just hoping the travel restrictions are sorted and hopefully there's a vaccine in time for Holly's 50th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
don't worry. It'll be delayed anyway, mate. We're not going to let that go by.
We'll have your 50th on the Lions tour.
I've already had a tick for I've got to go to Dublin because the Pro 14 lads want to celebrate my 50th
for work. Now there we are. Look, driving Mall, and they've got the try. Oh no, they haven't. They've got the pen.
They just flashed up the penalty count there. Highlanders 1 penalty, Hurricanes 7.
1 penalty.
really, really weird and odd.
One penalty after 56 minutes is incredible.
Now we've got Paul Tuffy jumping in, just asking if we're going to do Pro 14 games. Yeah, I think we're going to have a look at maybe doing the Italian derby on Friday night. Certainly going to do a couple of these over the course of restart, and hopefully we'll do something special for the final. Whoever is playing in that game, wherever it is to be played. Harley Worthy, did you guys catch that? Hallam
Oh yes, flashback. Yes, I do a couple of forward passes and yes. It got a bit sticky early on for Wales, that one with the disallowed tries, and Uruguay was sticking in, and then they, fair play, they burst through in the end.
Ardi Sevilla's had a yellow card for this, I think.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You can't do that. Straight through the side.
See, if you're getting a yellow card for that, they've certainly been given instructions to take this seriously.
Yeah, that's right. You only do that if you don't want to lose.
Well, there's a bit of I'm still going. They don't kind of care, and it's not intensity. It's a little bit of I've just kind of forgotten the rules, and the referee and the touchy have gone, and the referee and the touchy have kind of gone at halftime. We're being assessed too.
We could get sacked after this.
Yeah, exactly. We have careers to look after too.
Yeah, you can't do that. Jamie Booth had a good game. Well played, Jamie Booth.
There's something missing from this game, though, lads. In our ears, there's something missing.
There is. It's just it's a bit of a false game. It reminds me of a pre-season game. Really does.
A little bit. And I'm also thinking about TJ Pernara. I'm not hearing him all day long in my ears, and I kind of miss it.
Do you know something as well that has struck me is, do you remember when Sean proper went off on the pod about the rules around red cards, about being able to replace the red card?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right? And do you remember Sean was planning to start put all his All Blacks on the bench, get fellas sent off.
Yeah.
Injure the key player. Yeah.
So he picked 6
innovative. I thought.
First 5 minutes.
No red cards. Here's the last game. 20 minutes away. No red cards. You haven't seen anything like this. I can't remember too many controversial incidents where people have been lucky to escape a yellow card. I think we maybe had one under a high catch potentially in one of the games that we watched. You said, he could have got a red, but it's an interesting.
Do you know what I thought was unlucky, or sorry, was very lucky last week? Theo Tonkinson.
Yeah,
that shoulder could have easily been red.
Yeah,
easily. But yeah, that's a great shout at him, because we spent a lot of time on the Wednesday pod talking about those rules, and in particular the red card.
Yeah.
And even the breakdown interpretations have not loosened, but they haven't been as tight as they were in the first couple of weeks, I don't think.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Oh, look at this.
I love Aaron Smith when he's playing like he is in this tournament, and he pulls back for that big pass. It's great. He's last week. He was incredible last week.
He was, yeah. Best play. Well, he's been the best player on the field virtually every week, hasn't he?
Oh, his passing's amazing.
Almost.
It really is.
Here's an interesting question. Do you think that when he retires now, Aaron Smith is going to go above Justin Marshall in the all-time All Blacks list?
I think he already has, isn't he?
Do you think? No, but I mean, in terms of when they pick their XV of all time, do you think now they'll be picking him instead of Justin Marshall?
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah,
I think they will too. He's gone up a gear now, isn't he? He's become all-time All Black, hasn't he?
Also, he's won 2 World Cups, isn't he?
Yeah.
But
it must be
drawn a Lion series.
Only drawn a Lion series. It must be awful to have a career like that and have it all wiped out. I always think of Michael Johnson, the sprinter. He was once the greatest athlete we'd ever seen, and then had all his records wiped away. It must be really sad.
Can I just say, do you notice every time they go to the Highlanders coaching box, the amount of steam coming out?
No, they're not happy.
Mumford and Sons.
They are furious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that Smith is a good way ahead and has been for a while.
Yeah.
I love this from Paul Tuffy. Go back to the referee. It would be good for the ref to use all the rules that haven't been used. We have 20 minutes
any
left.
rules would be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Oh!
set themselves their own little challenge.
He's
Go
gone.
on.
He won't catch him. Geordie's going to give him a late. I thought Geordie Barrow was
Sorry.
shipping
I
the
really need to see
elbow then.
I need to see when that last try was scored. Sorry, my apologies for the last one. I was referring to the Hurricanes coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've just had a try scored after 60 minutes, and I really need to know the time of the last try because we may have had Holley time.
Yeah, what
so
did that...
was that last try scored just before 45, and then we got this one just on 60?
I can't look at the stats.
We had a try where Adi Sevilla got yellow carded.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay.
But roughly, I think it's just that period after the coaches have a bit of an input, and if it's tight, and
he's a small guy, Mitch Hunt, isn't he?
Very. Yeah, he's tiny.
Jesus, even as he was getting closer to the camera, he still appeared.
He's getting smaller. It's like reverse perspective. He was getting smaller as he approached.
Is that Aaron Major with Tony Brown there?
Yeah. He was now Aaron Major. He's just remained somehow one of my favorite players ever. I loved watching him play rugby.
Yeah, on me. He just did the basics perfectly, didn't he?
Oh, but a lovely distributing 12. I'm an absolute sucker for a distributing 12.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I can't say it enough how much of a tropical state of climate we're in South Wales. Right?
Every time I look up, Sean's having a little look out the window.
Unbelievable. It is. It's like being in Thailand in the rainy season. It's ridiculous. I can't believe
topic from Jasmine Smith. In New Zealand, kids don't wear rugby boots until you are 10. So it makes you tougher, I think, and you tend to stick to the lines or the mud because it's warmer. Is that the same up north?
No, it's not the same.
No, we're handing out 6-inch studs to kids at the age of 4.
Yeah, exactly. Mid-winter studs as soon as they're born.
Yeah, there is a reason why there's a well-founded reputation for some of our sides to stick it up the jumper, play 10-man rugby, and just make it very, very muddy and horrible. And because that's the weather and the pitches we play on when we're small.
But you know what? Hasn't this Kiwi competition shown us what rugby can be played in bad weather?
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest takeouts, because a lot of people now will realise that the weather in New Zealand is the same as Wales, and that there isn't really, although it's a little bit warmer.
And
that excuse is...
Yeah, there's a roof, but there's a roof.
Well, yeah, only in one ground though. But I think that excuse is gone now. I don't think you can use that excuse anymore about weather. Hurricanes play in worse weather. Crusaders are always playing in bad weather.
Well, all of our teams have training facilities with, all-weather sort of 4G pitches. Some of our teams play on them. I mean, you don't see too many bad games played at the Arms Park, no matter what time. I mean, there's sometimes where you get sheets of wind and rain coming down. But generally, the footing is still good, and Blues try and play a style of rugby that suits that surface. The same in Glasgow, they play a style of rugby. I mean, Sean, you think of the old surface up at Scottstown that used to always get flooded and stuff like that. Yeah, you couldn't play water polo in that, never mind rugby.
No, Hiwenden.
What a rob.
You'd pick up cabbages and carrots out of the field at half time and
get a bit of rice out
in Hiwenden. Crikey Moses, but that's how we learned playing, and things have just got better. There are some coastal pitches like St Helens in Swansea, still a fantastic surface. It's a cricket field as well.
Yeah.
But I agree with Adam, but I don't think there's an excuse really, because they've all got indoor or artificial training surfaces. I'd be interested to see, we've had Paul Lartner on watching with us. He's doing some stats in the background. It'd be interesting to see now when the Pro 14, I'd give it a couple of weeks. I'd wait until the new season perhaps to compare. But yeah, from looking at the stats in recent seasons with the Pro 14, it's high on offloads, it's high on ball and play time, it's high on number of passes, high on tries scored. You know, we've got a great league. It's just getting that message out there. You know, there are some, you know, pretty sad people who either don't want to subscribe or are negative about, you know, provincial rugby or Welsh regional rugby, who like to diss it. And I tell him, no, if you get down to the brass tacks of it, yeah, there's always some bad games. Look, we're looking at this now, and it's a bit of a free for all and a nothing game for different reasons. We get the odd game in the Pro 14 with that, but over time, the standard is pretty high. You know, the caliber of players we've got in there.
And that point you make about the creativity of rugby in the Pro 14, that's extremely valid. I think if you look at the amount of offloads compared to the amount of offloads you see in the English Premiership, it's way higher in the Pro 14.
Oh, slugfest.
Yeah, you know, I know they've got the cash, and they're able to sign virtually wherever they like. That doesn't mean the quality of rugby is pleasant to watch.
I think.
Oh, the old pick and go up the middle.
Oh, look at that!
Guess who?
Emanga Jensen.
If you speak to coaches as well, they'll tell you the difference between the two competitions. Obviously, relegation in one and not in the other, and that brings not necessarily a restriction, but you have to be more risk averse when there's relegation at play. So, for example, Michael Bradley,
you do,
who is dealing with really limited resources in Zebre, has been given the freedom to blood as many young players as possible since he's been there and allow them to play an attacking, attractive style of rugby. Their issues are in the set piece. They are not strong enough to squeeze the better teams in the set piece. But when you put the ball in their hands, there's a lot of really good, skillful players, but they are at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Now, it would be interesting to see they have a new pitch set up there. It'll be interesting to see if that helps them. Now, a good pitch for Zebra will be a good pitch for their opponents then as well. So it's catch-22.
That's the flip, isn't it?
Michael Bradley could not have that luxury if he was coaching Worcester in the Gallagher Premiership.
No.
And that's I suppose how it works out. But at the same time, I think you'll always have more varied style clashes in the Guinness Pro 14 by the very nature that you've teams from all these different countries.
Yeah, and I think the different weather conditions is a massive plus for the league as well. You know, I mentioned previously, 1 week you're in Connaught, the next minute you're playing in South Africa, and it's a totally different game plan.
Newsflash, Aaron Smith just put a poor pass in.
Yeah, you won't see that again. One a season.
Can I answer Jasmine's question there, Ad? She said about Kiwis players complaining about a lot of pitches up north because they're fake turf. I think up here, speaking from a Welsh point of view, it's the weather. We have such extreme weather. In the last 5 years, we have extreme weather. You know, it's absolutely shooing it down here now, and we'll be bogged out. Then we have, you know, a big freeze around Christmas sort of time, a lot of rain again. And then we have periods of baking sun, and it's very difficult for grounds people. I think the AstroTurf is a guarantee for training, because frozen pitches is an issue for us as well, and it's lower maintenance, so obviously less costs on the grounds people. So I think that answers your question. If you can get one, like I remember at the Ospreys, we were desperate to have one, just to have an area that you could do some lineouts or some live scrummaging or some back play skills or whatever, because the areas we were using were just getting worn and very little time to repair with grass.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. And the same with pitches for playing on. They go with the Deso, the mixture of natural and artificial now, which weave themselves around the root.
And they're
the best ones. They're the best ones because they're durable, need little repair, and a lot of our stadiums have football and rugby on them.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully that answers your question.
There you go.
Slams out.
Kennerly's doing your media work for you. Sean, you've gone exactly where I was going to go with this because I'm old fashioned. I don't like the purely artificial pitch. I don't like the look of it. I actually don't like the way it plays because the ball bounces differently when you see it in a game, and if you've ever played on one, it does bounce differently. But I'm a huge fan of the hybrid pitch. Huge. And that's the sweet spot.
It's
but
changed rugby, hasn't it? That pitch has changed rugby forever.
It really, really has. But if you go back to some of the contrast we've had, Scottstown and Glasgow is the biggest contrast we've had.
Yeah,
like that's that pitch. It was incredible. I mean, you talk about pitches being coastal. That's an inland pitch which appeared coastal because of the amount of water and mud on that thing.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It was close to the Clyde, and it's in a basin as well.
Oh, and Cardiff, Cardiff Arms Park, before half of that pitch would be underwater.
Oh,
that's a great offload.
Now finish the job. Finish the job.
Go on.
He didn't know who to pass it to. He's like, who are all these people? Are they on my team? Are they not on my team?
He must have wriggled over there.
It can't be fun. Was it Umaga Jensen again?
Oh,
yeah, he is. He's at the bottom of that.
So we've talked about we've talked about Holley time and where this game is going as well. We do have 52 points on the board.
Oh, right.
We've 10 minutes to crack 13, and that gives us 65.
No,
I'm saying that we.
It's on. Like
there's another try. There's another try. At least one.
Do you know what's awful? I'm tempted to cheat and look up the score just
no.
Just
70 minutes in and do that.
Just
there's an honor system.
Getting Sean because he's about
system here today.
If you could remember, I've taken a paste in from Holley. He's about 66-4 up.
I should be though.
That's absolutely right.
If we were talking, stringing tennis rackets, you'd be 66-4 up, wouldn't you?
No, that's another crushing blow. 67-4 up. Where's McGeady gone?
Paul, I tell you what. As soon as the game is over,
that I tell you what, I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna have that on my grave. Holley's just an inverted comma. Sean Holley. Course, I know more than the man who's buried under you.
Paul, just take a sip of your refreshment for this morning.
Fanta.
As he again puts a load of rubbish processed sugar with extreme colouring into that fantastic body of his.
Says made in Russia on you. Hang on. This isn't the bottle. I didn't buy this.
Yeah, in Ireland here, lads. In Ireland here, we've got a company called Club Orange. So Club Orange for me, I'm a Club Orange man. Fanta's a little too sweet, but and it's got bits in it, which is just a little bit different.
Yeah, like orangine.
It's kind of in between, but it's
nice.
Definitely less sweet than Fanta. I could not do what you're doing and drink that first thing in the morning. I might
love it.
I might die. Well, so might you, but for different reasons.
It's exactly. Yeah. Do you know what? That bloke from Tesco, I thought he had a little Russian twang when he was delivering my shopping.
The Chiefs girl.
Christ, don't put that up.
It's the opposite. So what happens here is in lockdown, I might actually be moving back into the house this weekend, lads. We're doing the house up. We got out first week of the year, then COVID happened, and that's fine. No complaints, lads. But this is a very small rented house, so we have to do a bit of a swap during the show. And the kids take downstairs, I disappear, and I come back up here. So this, for the record, is a very, very nice bedroom, and also where I work.
I can't wait to see McGeady's Sky Sports-esque studio when he moves into the new house.
Yeah, the epic. Soundproofed.
I'll just take a blank wall and a door. Okay. my needs are simple.
Very good.
Do you remember the early days of our video pods in early lockdown? We were doing it with Zoom and we were messing around with our virtual backgrounds. Have we got it? Oh,
go on.
Try.
It's Umaga Jensen again.
course it is.
It's just pointless naming any other player.
Do you give Geordie the freedom to take a drop here? Oh, he's not. He's looking for a tee.
Now he needs to take it back 68 meters
Well,
to
he'll
get a
put
good
this-
angle.
Put the ties on. He'll stick it on his own 22.
Why hasn't he just taken a drop? Look, take the drop here. Like,
If
you're
an
right.
All Black can't drop it over there on an artificial
know.
pitch with a roof over, then there's something wrong.
I could drop that over from there. 6 out of 10.
Good luck to the ball boy now. Has to climb about 200 steps to get that ball. Oh, poor Mitch.
Oh,
I know.
It's a hard one for a fullback. That
Yeah.
The rugby
Good
ball
finish.
is a deceitful little swine, isn't it? You can't trust
I
them.
predict we'll see Umaga Jensen in an All Black squad. It's not the most difficult prediction I've ever made, but as you say, there's a lot of competition, Paul, in that position, and I just if he pulled his socks up and look, like Aaron Smith going off, shirt tucked in, socked up, socks to the knees, I just think he'd be even better.
Just
Lucky,
say,
lucky
well done to
biz.
everyone. Well done to everyone who's watching and having a chat in the comments about a certain soft drink that we're not going to give any more free airtime to.
Unless they want to actually sponsor us.
Yeah, so we'll leave that. I think Andy's internet may have hit a slight bump in the road. Paul, when we get full time here, do you want to run off straight away to ESPN and grab some stats?
I've got it ready.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, look.
Oh, hang on a second.
Kick in. He's done it.
Oh, right, bounce.
And
Oh.
Look at Theo Tompkinson. He's class, that lad. Do you know what? He's the sort of player I can imagine seeing playing for Munster in 3 seasons.
Well, what hairstyle has come on at scrum half for Highlanders? I'm seeing some sort of mane out there.
Yeah. Andy's back.
Oh, and a new shirt.
Something different.
What's he
about it.
got
I
on?
can't quite put my finger on.
He's got the blues on.
It's our last run, lads. We've 7 minutes left. I needed to make sure everyone was represented.
Fair play to you.
I've been sneaking the odd sports jersey purchase every couple of weeks into the house because now obviously I work from home. It's easy to be here when they arrive and then just sort of hide in the closet away from my wife. I can't believe you bought 5 rugby jerseys as a grown adult man.
It's a grown adult man. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I am a grown adult man, and a grown adult man is not supposed to wear rugby jerseys that you have not earned yourself, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But feck it, it's COVID, and it made me happy. Okay.
I totally agree. Yeah. Do you know what? Grown adult man is big. I'm going to use that. It's going to become part of my lexicon. That is grown adult man.
Yeah.
Grown adult man.
Someday I'll be one, Paul. Someday I'll be one.
I think for if we do some Friday night Pro 14 games, I think we'll have to nominate a night for crappy shirt night.
Yeah.
And anybody watching along, if you want to throw in some pictures of crappy shirts, we'll figure out a way to get those up on screen. It's been a bit of one of those weeks this week that felt like a month. So last night I put on one of my holiday shirts just for
cheer yourself up.
just for going out in the evening and walking around the neighbourhoods. And
do you know what? I did the same, man. I did exactly the same. And I realised when I put it on, my wife said, "Do you realise the last time you wore that was on the family cruise in 2015?"
Oh,
I was like,
Now,
ooh.
I have at least 5 or 6 shirts. We've done before Ethan came along. We did 2 cruises, and as soon as we booked the first one, which was for our honeymoon, I was like, I now have real authority to go and buy some wacky shirts and sell them for the cruise. But once they're in the wardrobe, you can find other occasions to wear them.
Yeah, last night being one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So crappy shirts sooner or later, boys. That's what we'll do. Somebody's speculating that Andy's neighbours are busy changing his Wi-Fi password all the time. You're not subject to any tech hacks here, Andy, are you?
Something like that. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to having real wired broadband, and so is everyone on the show. And
I know
it's gonna take a couple of weeks to get that wired in, lads, but it's coming.
Do you know what? My life has changed since I've got this LAN working, bar it totally collapsing in the middle of the week with Virgin Media.
Yeah.
Makes a big
McGeady,
difference.
are you planning? James Reed, you're on the right track.
Oh,
Right.
barbecue room.
I
Now
am
you're
looking.
talking.
That'll take a little further, but that has been part of my plans, and I cannot wait.
I think the other thing, we've had a few queries about whether we'll do this for the North v South game. First of all, I'm not sure if it's going to be broadcast up here. I hope it is.
I really hope it is.
Do it, because I think if we had Paul Williams live for that North v South game, that might not be.
We'll just hear a load of gasps and squeaks from Paul.
Yeah,
huffing and puffing.
Get a bit rugby porn.
Sean, did you ever get involved in any probables v possibles games at a Welsh level or anything like that, or did you ever have any of that at a club level either?
I coached. What was it? It would have been a West Wales team. When was that? Well, that would have been for Wales A, I think, a West Wales team. I also remember doing an under-19s West Wales, and Dwayne Peel was in the team.
Really?
That's how long ago it was. Yeah, Barry Davis, the former Scarlets fullback, he was in the team as well. So
Barry the Boot.
Yeah. So those sort of things. There's very little time to prepare. That's the only thing, you know. And so you're just really organising some general defensive themes and attacking patterns and a couple of lineouts, really. So
who stops players from causing some serious damage? Because clearly the guys on the possibles are trying to stick their hands up in that environment, and you probably would get it in, you know, the tail end of a meaty season at club level as well. Guys are just desperate to be involved. Can you put any parameters in there, or do you just have to keep your eye on it?
No, I don't think you do, man. And I would bring that back, probables and possibles, because it puts pressure on the probables. You know, there's this sort of, there is a level above, isn't there? You know, we all know the greatest players are a level above, but there are those just below who think they're up there. But that probables possibles game, and then it has the adverse effect for the possibles. Somebody shines through. I think they've tried to dampen down by having North v South or East v West and this, but it is what it is. But I think the secret then is in the selection. So even though in history, probables v possibles, you know, does it say what it says on the tin? The selection has been quite clever, isn't it? There's always one or two in the possibles who you think should have been in the probables and therefore raise their game, and vice versa. So I don't know. I quite like it because I think it keeps players on their toes. You can't rest on your laurels, and it gives a shot really to. But then again, like we keep saying about this one, everyone's an all-black trial every week, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we've got the Welsh derbies, the Irish derbies, the Italian derbies, the Scottish derbies coming up in the Pro 14. Ready-made trials, ready-made possible.
I'm going to as with half a minute left to play, I'm just going to pick something up because we said at the start, you know, the subs could have an impact on the game. Subs are coming in and throwing shots. The last 5 minutes.
Big
shots throwing shots.
Yeah.
Angry. Wanted to be on there.
They're just going like, I've got all this worked up. I'm letting some energy out. Hard luck, whoever gets in the end of this one.
Yeah.
I don't care if I break my leg. It's the last game. I'm coming in.
We need one more 7-pointer here, because then that brings us to
what are they going to
I think that's it. They're going to kick it out.
Yeah, but they get the line out, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
No. Okay, we're done.
Okay, I now have a great disliking for Mitch Hunt.
He's just gone.
He's not my type of player anymore.
Yeah, we were short. 59 points.
I tell you what, guys, the stats play out exactly what we said in terms of it looking like a bit too open. So the Highlanders carried 615 meters, which is big. You know, normally you'd be looking at sort of, even in Super Rugby, low 400s to 450. Hurricanes up at 671 meters carried, which is massive. That's a lot. 10 clean breaks for the Canes, 7 for the Highlanders. Between them, nearly 40 defenders beaten, which is massive. The Highlands are 22 offloads, which is staggering. Penalties aren't too bad, actually. 12 to the Hurricanes, 8 to the Highlanders.
What was the errors, Paul?
Errors
Turnovers?
are hang on a second. 15 for the Highlanders, 11 for the Canes. I thought it'd be more than that, actually.
Paul's just chipped in on the 22 entries.
There you go. So when I was saying that's a good start that we're coming up with Paul, I was saying, Andy was saying, what's it lacking? It was lacking end product for a while, wasn't it? It's only 14 all at half time. There is a reason. So 22 entries.
66%, I think we're looking at conversion rate, successful entries for the Highlanders. So obviously pointing to their 38 points.
1 in 2. That's pretty good, though.
Does that say 9 entries and a 66%? Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that
that's good.
We're going to start working out in Pro 14 whether that's a good start or not. Right. So the Canes. Oh well, there you go. They've gone in more times in the 22 and only scored a quarter of the time. That tells a massive story. Those
doesn't it?
Comparing to me, you know, and the outcome of the game, the score. Because they have
a great start
in there, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's just the final pass.
It's the final everything, and that's what we missed today. So there's a bit of adventure, good, but then sometimes you have to really narrow that focus and say, what are we here for? We're here to actually execute. But look, we've had a good run here during Super Rugby Aotearoa, right? It's been great. Personally, do you know what? I love just getting up and watching rugby with crowds and talking during it with real humans. It's been fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. But what's been the favourite moment? Because thinking back, a lot's happened. I'm thinking back to the drop goal fest in week 1. I was going, yes, as a Northern Hemisphere fan, this is great. I can get on board. Something's changed here. Paul Williams, what was your favourite moment?
Do you know, I think my favourite moment, and it's a collection of moments really, so slightly cheating, but is the Blues winning games that ordinarily they'd have just thrown away in past Super Rugby seasons. Because I watch a lot of Super Rugby. Having Blues back as a competitive team means quite a lot to that competition. Yeah, so seeing them being able to win those games that they'd never, ever have won in the last sort of 5 to 6 years. So I'd say that's the real highlight. And, of course, just watching the Crusaders do anything.
Yeah, it's been good. Mr. Holley?
Well, just to highlight the stark contrast between me and Williams.
As if it was required.
My moment was when, because the Blues, have turned a corner and they were down in Canterbury and seemingly going to beat the Crusaders, then Richie Mo'unga grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. He took a quick restart and single-handedly, which he's done in this tournament, proved that this is why I'm the All Black 10 now. So that moment, and then how the Crusaders turned that game back around to show, where my rugby heart is, that their consistency, home mentality, winning ethos, young players, cultural values, that was the one for me. But I've really enjoyed it, boys. I've enjoyed your company. I've loved the fact that all our followers, listeners, watchers are on, and let's hope they'll follow us for Zebre against Benetton.
Sean, I genuinely thought you were going to say it was when that scrum half didn't put the ball off the field in that game. Do you remember?
You just stole my one. You stole my one.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
That was clearly my moment.
I'm sorry.
You've seen, one thing about this podcast is, for all our listeners new, but you've seen the best and the worst of Holley. You've seen the real me, that's for sure. That's what rugby does.
Sorry, Andy.
I'm going to come straight in there, because when we had Grumpy Sean completely lose it over the scrum map, not putting it off the field, that was everything. It was everything that these pods are supposed to be, because there is no plan and no script and no anything to these, and that was wonderful. That's my moment right there.
Well, I'm going to start off with my worst moment was when Sean Holley stole my favourite moment, which is the Richie Muongo restart.
Sorry,
That
mate.
was
Sorry, mate.
great stuff.
Great minds. Great minds.
But what I would say is actually the bit of this that I enjoyed the most is when we had Adam Jones on. It was just,
Yeah.
it was brilliant. The conversation was, it went from what we were watching to chatting about coaching to chatting about playing, you know, him talking about the Ospreys days, all that sort of stuff. That was a real pleasure to be involved in his company, and that was really good. And I hope all the people who watched then enjoyed that one as well. So that was great, and we're getting some good ones in here from so Jasmine Smith saying, you know, the Surveyor fake pass from last week.
Yes, that's an all-time moment. That one.
We have Elma Smith, very well-known presenter down in South Africa. So she's in with Paul on the resurgence of the Blues.
And their water boy.
Yeah.
Very well known water boy for the
DC.
Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ardy's dummy again coming up there for Harley. And Kyle Reese, who joined us on Under the Sticks this week when
He plastered
we were
his
showing a few
ceiling.
numbers. What's the score? Well, you can know the score earlier on. It's finished up 38 to the Highlanders, 21 to the Hurricanes. This has been a whole lot of fun. We must do this seriously sometime.
And thank you. So I want a little hat tip to everyone who actually watched and joined along in not destroying our little bubble of ignorance for the score today. I genuinely didn't think we'd get away with this. Thank you everybody for buying in. It's been great. So I think we're probably going to wrap it there. Thank you everybody. It's been an adventure. We'll see what the next steps are. We honestly have no plans set in stone here, but we do know, and we are committing to doing something like this with the Pro 14 when we kick off again, because we enjoy it. We think other people enjoy it, and I hope to have you all along for the ride. So thank you to everyone who's been involved, both watching and organizing. Thank you, Adam, for setting it up every week. It's been really good. Thank you, Sean and Paul, for giving us your mornings. That has been the Under the Sticks live watch-alongs for Super Rugby Aotearoa, presented by Big Red Cloud. I'm Andy McGeady. We will see you again in some form very soon.